The club is an association representing international activities, and our main motto is service above self. Our main objective is to conduct interactive and quality events which are like stress busters for our friends and also those which help in the betterment of the society. Thank you. And now I invite all of you interactors to take part in our upcoming events. Over to Anaga.
Good morning everyone. I'm going to introduce you to the names of the board members of the club. Atreya is the president, Lekha is the secretary, Yuvraj as the treasurer, and Shrishti as the sergeant at arms, and I as the vice president. Yesterday the UN celebrated the World Elders Abuse Awareness Day. Let me call upon Master Anish Agarwal and Ms. Shri Vashni to talk on the topic.
Once there lived a family of 4 members, an elderly person in his late 60s, his son in his late 30s, his daughter-in-law in her early 30s, and his grandson aged 10 years.
They used to have the breakfast, lunch and dinner together. Always the elderly person was served in an old aluminium plate on the floor, and other used to have on the dining table.
One night on the bed, the child asked his father why his grandfather was not served along with them during times of meal.
The father replied, "He is very old and does not know the table manners, and we cannot have a good meal in his presence on the table." The child was very observant.
Next day, the father found the child busy with himself, searching for something from the pile of utensils which are thrown and dumped in the storeroom.
Out of curiosity, the father asked him what he is doing.
The son replied, "I am finding an old utensil to be kept safe."
The father asked again, "What for?"
The son replied, "So that I can serve you in it when you also become old like the grandfather."
The father realized his mistake, and from then onwards, the whole family used to have the meals together on the table.
This might be an imaginary story or a real one.
But this might have happened in any family, or happening in any, or may happen in future.
Good morning all. I am Shri Vashni of grade 11A.
I am Manish Agarwal from 11A. We stand in front of you, representing the Interact Club, to throw some light on the World Elder Abuse Awareness Day, celebrated every year on the 15th day of June.
Virtually all countries are expected to see substantial growth in the number of older persons between 2015 and 2030, and that growth will be faster in developing regions because the number of older persons are growing. The amount of elder abuse can be expected to grow with it. While the taboo topic of elder abuse had started to gain visibility across the world, it remains one of the least investigated types of violence in national surveys and one of the least addressed in national action plans. The United Nations General Assembly in its resolution 66/127 designated June 15 as World Elder Abuse Awareness Day. The first WEAAD was observed in 2012 and was marked by meetings and conferences at the UN headquarters in New York. It represents the one day in the year when the whole world voices its opposition to the abuse and sufferings inflicted to some of our older generations.
What is elder abuse? The US National Academy of Sciences proposed a widely accepted scientific definition of elder abuse as intentional actions that cause harm or create a serious risk of harm, whether or not harm is intended, to a vulnerable elder by a caregiver or other person who stands in the trust relationship, or failure by a caregiver to satisfy the elder's basic needs or to protect the elder from harm. Elder abuse is mistreatment of an old person that is committed by someone with whom the older person has a relationship of trust, such as a partner, family member, friend, or carer. Elder abuse may be physical, social, financial, psychological, and can include mistreatment and neglect. Elder maltreatment can lead to serious physical injuries and long-term psychological consequences. Sometimes, family, friends, and carers may not know that their actions amount to elder abuse. Older people have the right, just like people of all ages, to live safely, free from harm, abuse, and exploitation. Any action that breaches this right are a form of abuse.
Elder abuse is a problem that exists in both developing and developed countries, yet is typically underreported globally. Although the extent of elder abuse is unknown, it is not less a global social issue which affects the health and human rights of millions of older persons around the world, and an issue which deserves the attention of the international community. Estimates indicate Thus, to conclude, the best measure to prevent this emerging cancer of elder abuse, in our opinion, is how would you be treated tomorrow when you are an elder? Absolutely depends on how do you treat today your elders. Love them, respect them, and take care of them. Remember, without them, we are nothing and no one. Thank you. And we sign off. Good day to all.